What is up? Good morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're tuning in. I wanted to jump on here and talk about time and how we choose to spend it. Because the fact of the matter is, I think most of us live in a very reactive way. And I'm guilty of this to a certain degree. I definitely was more so guilty of it a few years ago. And I think we don't realize that we choose to live this way. And I think there's multiple reasons for it, okay? Let's talk about time for a second, right? So we all know, and I would argue, that time is the most valuable, non-renewable resource that we have, okay? And time really is a resource. If you think of it as a resource, like you're giving it, we're on this earth, God has given us these bodies, and He's given us this amount of time. Nobody knows how much time each of us has, right? But we all have 24 hours. We all have 7 days a week. We all have 365 days a year. How many years we have, we don't know. But we all have a choice of how we spend that time. And everyone knows that time is passing constantly. Once it's gone, it's gone. That makes sense to everyone, right? We watch our kids grow up almost instantaneously, like overnight. All of a sudden they're adults. We watch our parents and grandparents start to age. We notice wrinkles, we get gray hairs, we have creaky joints in ourselves that weren't there before. And yet we don't change how we prioritize our lives until generally an external force, something external, acts upon us, okay? So here we are, keeping ourselves unnecessarily busy. Our kids are unnecessarily busy because you don't want them to miss out on anything. We're completely falling apart inside and out, as parents. We're run down, all of us, burnt out, we're exhausted. Our kids are learning from example that being busy, is the only way to be, because if you're not doing something, then, we can't be bored. There's no such thing as boredom right now, right? But we are completely overwhelmed all of the time, and we're doing it to ourselves. Okay? We have fast food runs in between games, recitals, practices, because there's never any time to cook. There's no time for family dinners. That doesn't exist anymore in this world, right? We're running ragged. We're overly tired. We're never able to catch a breath. And then, the days that we actually have quote-unquote time, right? We're sitting there binge watching Netflix, Hulu, scrolling social media, and then we binge eat sugar and unhealthy snacks because we try to numb things, because we're so exhausted that we just numb the fact that we're overwhelmed. We numb the fact that we're unhappy, right? We try to cover it all up, and we check out from life and call it self-care, right? Or we take vacations that are we can't wait for the next vacation, but then we have to take a vacation from the vacation because the vacation itself was so exhausting, right? We're constantly living reactively, and we're always feeling behind because that's what reactive living is. Instead of being proactive, we choose the other thing, right? So instead of being proactive with our health, proactive with our families, proactive with our finances, our daily habits, our well-being, we choose, okay? It's not that we just fall into this pattern. We are constantly choosing to be reactive. And a lot of it could be learned behavior from watching our parents or watching the world live this way, right? But to be real, it's just easier. It's easier to be reactive. Now, I don't want to lose you here because I'm going to get kind of deep a little bit. But I want you to understand what I'm saying. The reason it's easier to be reactive is because you do not have to gain any discipline. No discipline is required to live reactively, okay? Because the, quote-unquote motivation that so many people have that are, this elusive thing that people always say they don't have enough of. The motivation, the reasons that we do things is external instead of internal, okay? The reason we do things is because someone said so, or someone needs us, or we need to be somewhere, or something is happening that needs to be addressed right now, immediately, because we didn't do what we should have when we should have, right? We do things because of all of those reasons instead of doing things because we actually choose to do them. We want to do them, right? Most things. I'm not saying that like this is everything in life, but in general, most things that we do are because we have to do them, because someone said so, because we need to be somewhere, because someone needs us, okay? We constantly are backing ourselves into corners. We do things because we have no choice. We have no choice, or at least we assume we have no choice, and so we do them. Did I go too deep, or does that make sense? For instance, most people set their alarms for the exact minute that they have to get up. They have to get out of bed to make it to work or school on time, instead of waking up when they want to, enjoying the morning, getting a workout in, for instance, or just meditate, whatever you want to do in the morning, and just start the day off right. Instead, we're like, oh, okay, I'm going to wake up at 6:30 because it takes me an hour and a half to get ready, drive, all that stuff, and it's like 6:30 on the dot, gotta wake up, right? Instead of waking up at 6 and having 30 minutes to like do a morning routine, feel better, and start the day off focused on you, right? The first thing you're focused on when you wake up is your job or your schoolwork or whatever it is that you have to hustle off to, right? Most people clean their house. I'm guilty of this. Most people clean their house when people are coming over, right? We know people are coming over. Oh crap, the house is a mess. Let's clean it up. Instead of just like consistently keeping it clean, consistently doing the things that need to be done so that, the house stayed clean. And most people work a job that they can't wait to vacation from because they have to pay the bills, right? They have no choice. They have to work this job. They have to do this job that they hate, they loathe, they don't want to go into. Most people get done, like finally, obviously, health and fitness coach, most people don't get their health under control until a doctor tells them that they need to, or else, right? Or else you will get diabetes, or else you will have a heart attack, or else you will die in the next 10 years, or on the lower level of drama, suddenly their clothes don't fit. Oh crap, I need to do something, right? The scale scares them into reality. They step on, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've gained 25 pounds. What have I been doing? Instead of just doing things because they choose to, because they want to, because they know they should. They're not being proactive. They're being reactive. They're reacting to a thing external from themselves, outside of themselves. External from themselves, that's the same thing. Outside of themselves. Does that make sense? You're choosing to live that way. Everyone who lives that way is choosing to live that way. I choose, like cleaning my house, okay? That's my example, because that's like what I am guilty of. I choose to not clean my house until people are coming over, right? I've tried, I'm working on it. I'm trying to make it a habit. I'm trying to keep my house nice and picked up. But that's something that is faltering in my life, right? But what I'm saying is a lot of people, all of those things, they just do it because they have to be there. They do it because they have to pay bills. They do it because they have to. And I wish people could get out of that paradigm. They would get out of the paradigm shift and be like, oh my gosh, I can wake up when I want. I can go to bed when I want. I don't have to wake up at 6:30. I could wake up when I want and actually have a nice morning. I could keep my house consistently clean because it would only take an hour a day, right, to actually keep it picked up. And then I would be less overwhelmed and stressed because clutter is stressful. I can work a job that I want. If I'm not working a job that I want, what do I need to do to make that happen, right? If my job is miserable, stop. Do you know how much time you spend at work? Like if you have a miserable job, it's not worth it. 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, or 9 or 10 hours. Some people are working overtime all the time. And it's like, I have to pay the bills. Yeah, you've backed yourself into a corner. If you're working a job that you hate, that's your fault, man. Opportunities are endless, right? And I mean, next up, I might talk about choices and how every choice leads to better choices, because I was actually thinking about that the other day. But we'll talk about that another time. right? And then get your health under control now. If everyone were just to work out, even just walk, like you don't need to work out strenuously, especially if you are not a fan of exercise. Like I know a lot of people are like, I've never done it. I don't like to sweat. Like it's something that you kind of have to learn to love, right? For some people. But if everyone just walked for 30 minutes to an hour a day, just walked, like not fast-paced walking, just like a dedicated walk, and they ate healthy, simple things, like just incorporated more proteins, incorporated more vegetables, didn't eat out as much, right? Cooked food at home every day, only ate out on the weekends. Like small, simple things that you can do to get your health under control. Don't just wait until things are bad. Don't just wait until your clothes don't fit. Don't just wait because the scale all of a sudden says you gained 30 pounds and you quote unquote don't know what happened. You know what happened. You stopped doing the stuff, right? One of my mentors, Alex Ramosi, I don't know if you know who he is, but one of my favorite things he says is do the boring work. It's boring to keep your house clean. It's boring sometimes to wake up earlier than you should and have a nice morning routine that gets you started well. It's boring. It's boring to go to school and get an education and finally work a job that you love. For a lot of people, it's boring. It's easier just to stick with a job you hate because the work that would require to become this person is too, it's boring to work out every day, but you have to do it because it opens up the door for more choices because you're being proactive, you're not being reactive, you're not backed into a corner, you're not doing things because you have to, because something outside of you is telling you have to. Stop doing that. Life's too short, right? Time is running out. Back to time, right? Time is running out. Every hour, every second you're listening to this, you have a choice, is ultimately what I was trying to come across. I want everyone listening to this to understand that they have a choice. You're just refusing to make it, and you're letting other things choose for you. Anyway, I hope this was valuable. Please subscribe if you liked it. You can always join my Facebook group. I'm excited to help some more people this month get started on their health journey, and if you are one of those people, definitely jump in, and I will, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.